Hey everybody, hey sports fans, sports collectors, investors, hobbyists, new to the hobby, old to the hobby, we don't care. We are so glad you're here and joining us for our very first YouTube episode. Thought it would be fun for the very first episode to go through my dad's collection and just pick out some big names that I thought were pretty cool that would be fun to take and send off to PSA, get them graded, bring them to you to this channel. This is our very first PSA box. He's going to open it for the first time. He has no idea what's in this box, which players I picked, and he has no idea how much they are going for. He has spent a lot of years collecting, and did you have a vision in mind when you started doing this? Was there like an end goal?
It was just to get the players that were my son's favorites. And then, of course, it came about that they said, well, the cards may be valuable sometime in the future, and that the only cards that are going to be really valuable were the vintage cards before 1980 and so forth. And so I had my favorite players, so I thought, well, kind of nostalgic, I'll start collecting those players. And then started collecting all the Hall of Famers, started collecting the rookie cards, started collecting vintage cards, and I was always impressed about what Beckett said they were worth and what I was able to get them for. There's 3 cards I spent $150 for, but every card other than those, I pretty much would kind of set a limit at probably no more than 50, and usually it was somewhere around $1 to $10.
It has been super fun to find out that his $5 purchases, my goodness, even with a low grade, are for a couple $100. So I'm excited to reveal to him his very first PSA opening, and we're going to go through card by card and see how you did, Dad.
All right.
Okay, so we've unopened the box. And looks like a Hank Aaron is on top. These are in no particular order, Dad. I just literally went through some of these boxes and just pulled out some big names that I thought would do really well graded. So have at it.
Okay, so this is a Hank Aaron 320, and I am not a professional grader, so I just have some key points that I look at. And from the back, I'm looking at 2 specific things. That's the corners and the centering, and this looks pretty centered. Certainly it is, and the corners probably very sharp, and one maybe slightly frayed. So we'll turn it over, and we see this is a 1962 Hank Aaron, and what I find when I look at it is there might be slight chipping along the edge, but this 1962 version, it was kind of a very likely that cards were chipped because of the brown coloration, but it's fairly well centered. So if I was kind of going to give it a low grade, I probably would say maybe at worst it would be a 6, and it very possibly could, because of the quality, coloration, glossiness, and everything else, it could go for a 7. But again, I'm not a professional grader, so let's go ahead and reveal what it actually was. Well, apparently that one little corner that is slightly frayed was enough for them to mark it down to 5, but the rating is given an excellent, so it is a excellent card, 1962 tops.
Beautiful card, and just recently I went through and had the email from PSA and just kind of went ahead and looked at numbers, and that card, Dad, was going for about $380. And again, these numbers do fluctuate, but pretty good, I think.
Pretty good, yeah, for sure. Like I say, I mean,
we're just picking up along the way
right,
somewhere.
Yeah. So I'm probably overgrading, and I'll probably have to step back a little bit, but certainly that's more than fair in terms of what I probably purchased it for.
Absolutely.
Okay, the next card is number 20, and it is of again Hank Aaron. And this card in the back, it's a little bit not as centered, and kind of a rating of what, looking at the sheets, it would be about 90-10. But there's no discoloration, no gum marks and so forth. And if I turn it over without looking at the grade, the corners, again, are slightly frayed. More than just the one corner, and the edges are slightly frayed, but the coloration is good and the borders are good. So again, based on the other card, I would say it would be a high of 5 and maybe a low of 4. So let's go ahead and look at what they say. Oh, well, very good.
Wow.
It looks like they're going for the low of 4, but that's still, in terms of description, it's very good to excellent. So it's a very good card, and would make a fine addition to any collection.
Okay, and that one was going for about $350.
Again, that's excellent in terms of what inflation, so to speak, has done to the cards. Okay, so the next card that I have here is a Willie Mays, and this is number 5. And looking at the back, it looks quite well centered. The corners from the back look very, very good and sharp. So we'll turn it over without looking, and this looks like a 1958 Mays. At worst, the centering is about 75-25, maybe even 70-30. A little bit of fraying on the corners in the front with the white borders. Thinking again, I'm guessing maybe a PSA 5 tops, and it could go as low as 4.5. So let's reveal it. 5, so very good, very good, very good.
Yeah, I'm so impressed.
So.
That is a beautiful card, very popular on the internet right now. That one also recently sold for $350 on eBay.
Okay, well, very good. Okay, now we have another Hank Aaron card, number 300. This card on the back looks centered, at worst 80-20. One of the edges is frayed. Someone I may even say it's slightly rounded, and the other corners are frayed. So a little bit of fraying, but nice looking back. Look at the front. Very kind of nice centering on the front. The edges are, again, from the front are a little bit frayed. The borders are clear. The glossy in this looks good. Based on that, it seems like fraying detracts somewhat from the grading. I would have to say maybe a 4.5 and a low of maybe 4. So let's reveal it. Ooh, well, I didn't do very well there. They gave it a 2. So apparently the card is more frayed than I probably gave it an expectation. So it's a 2.
Still, it's hard to tell sometimes.
Yeah,
My
it
gosh.
is. I guess sometimes they rate them higher with the fraying and must be looking at other things. But the surface is nice, no creases, no defects.
And that one about $80.
Okay, very good. Okay, this is another Hank Aaron card, number 30. On the back, it looks like at worst it would be 80-20. The corners, again, we're looking at slight fraying from the back standpoint. Look at the front, a little bit frayed. Maybe the borders are a little bit discolored. The centering at the top looks like about 90-10, so it would have to be less than 5. So again, I'm going to go with a 4, but based on the fraying of the other card, maybe a 3. So we'll say a 3. Oops, no.
All
The 4 got
right,
it. So very
4.
good, yeah.
Outstanding. I'm super impressed.
A very good to excellent description.
Yes, that one $250.
250, well, very good. Next one is a Sandy Koufax. This is number 79. And again, the back looks very centered. No gum stains. The edges, again, it seems like these older cards seem to standardize having some fraying, but not too severe in this particular card. And then we look at the front. The cards of this particular time, I think this is 1955, were a little bit shadowy, but they all were in terms of the pictures taken. And the corners do look a little frayed in some instances, and but the borders and the centering looks quite good for the front of the card. Again, because of the fraying, I'm going to have to say it could go as high as 4, but I'm going to give it a 3. So let's check it out. Oh,
You
3.
got it again.
3.
Oh my gosh.
Very good. Okay.
Now I gotta say, Dad, I was a little bit disappointed with this one, not having your knowledge. When I sent this one off, I had major expectations. This is a card I see all the time being posted. This is a fan favorite for sure. But still a 3, and it's sold for $300.
So, very good.
You know, not bad.
Not bad at all. Next card, again, we're back to Henry. And Henry Aaron, I think, as you probably knew, that this was the time when you sent them in that he had recently passed away. He certainly was a great baseball hero and certainly broke incredible records and still stands. So that he was very popular in terms of sales at that time. That's, I think, why you submitted so many of the Henry Aarons.
Mm-hmm.
But this card here in the back has a little bit of fraying, maybe even more towards the roundedness. Good centering in the back, no gum stains and so forth. So we'll give it that. And then we look at the front. Well, we do have here a slight crease in the corner. There is a slight crease there, so that's going to detract. And the corners are not only somewhat frayed and partially rounded, but also I call it crimped, like someone kind of pressed in on it at the edges. So even though I would say probably at the highest, because it is a nice looking card, a great card for a display card or a filler card, but because of the crease, I'm going to have to go with a 2.5. Okay. Oops, a little bit lower. I guess
Okay.
the crease takes away a lot, so fair enough. They have a 1.5, and it's fair, but still, it's a nice card to have of Hank
Absolutely.
Aaron back in that day.
And even so, with that crease, and even at a 1.5, it is still. It has been selling for about $200.
Yeah, so that's fair enough for sure.
People love Hank Aaron. For
Yep,
sure.
they do. Okay, now we have a Willie Mays, and it seems like Willie Mays and Hank Aaron were hand in hand. The back is a little bit less centered than I'd like to see it, probably 90-10 at best. Again, it's almost like repetitive to say the corners are frayed, but not bad. They seem pretty sharp from a distance, and then turn it over. And you have some discoloration in the border here. And on the front, it's probably about 80-20 with that. Again, I would say it's a nice looking card and could go for a 4, but maybe a 3.5. So let's look. Oh my goodness! How about that?
Rock on! Woo!
I mean, it's
6.
interesting because other cards had not as better centering and less fraying, but they went for lower. So it's hard to tell, and I'm sure they know what they're doing. But it came out as a 6. All right.
And that one recently sold for $900.
$900. Well, very good. Well, he's a popular player and certainly well known. Well, the next card is, and I don't think we have too many of these initially we've sent out, but this is a fairly, comparatively, it's not a vintage card. It would be considered recent. I believe it's a rookie card of Tom Brady, who certainly made an impression in the National Football League in terms of coming back and playing again and winning the football awards and so forth. But this one is because it's newer, and as soon as you get it, you kind of put it into things, so it should rate high as far as, unless it comes out of the manufacturer having some flaw. But from the back, it looks sharp corners, even borders, centered, a good coloring in that. And then it's also chrome, so the Bowman chrome was kind of very popular at that time. Everybody wanted to go get that, even though Tom Brady wasn't that well known during his rookie year. So we'll turn it over and look at it. And again, from a non-professional, it looks very well centered. Corners are very sharp. Coloration's good. Chrome is relevant. And so I'm thinking, again, I never think in terms of perfect, like a 10, and a 9's close to perfect. So at best, I think it would be an 8, but because there seems to be something that they'll find, I would say a 7. So let's say Tom Brady 7. Well.
Oh my gosh! Woo!
So it's
You
a 7.
got it.
Yeah, with that. So very good.
Yes.
So a 7 for the 2000 Tom Brady rookie card Chrome Bowman.
And that one, that's a biggie. That is going for $1,200 right now. That might be a good one to hold on to until his retirement is official.
Right,
That's
because
what
last
the word
year
on the street is.
he retired and he's coming back. So and they have a chance to win the championship again. So it probably could go up, and it will continue to be. And that's pretty much the high ranking of all the Tom Brady cards, I think. That was in a regular set, so to speak. Okay. All right. Well, very good. Well, we have another football card here, and this also is of Tom Brady. And this particular card, again, from the perspective of the corners look sharp and the borders and the coloring look very good. We'll turn it over. I believe this is another rookie card put out by Press Pass. And again, we look at the front. It looks very sharp corners, no scuffing or frays. I would think, based on just because a new card put it immediately into a sleeve, it would be a 10. But again, there's something I may be missing. So I think I'm going to go with the same thing I said before, with a 7. So let's reveal it. Oh my gosh, a 9.
He's got a 9,
how about
Tom
that?
Brady.
Now, I wonder what the difference is between the 7 and the 9, looking at it. And
That
even
is
under the
awesome.
microscope, I can't tell, but that's good. So very good. And this was a 2000, again, rookie card, Press Pass. Mint condition. So
That is awesome. And that was number 37.
37, right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I may have it wrong, but for some reason I have a 9 going for $350 right now.
350. Okay, well that was less of a card product. So in other words, like Bowman was just coming out with Chrome and all that, and this was just basically kind of a minor distributor.
Okay.
So I think that's understandable. So that's a good price for a card that probably other Press Pass cards during that same year probably are very likely worth less than 50 cents.
Okay.
So with that. All right. Well, very good. So the next one is Roberto Clemente, another kind of hero of that generation of cards who the gentleman unfortunately died tragically in trying to do volunteer work. But he was a great player and well known. This is card 76. Looks well centered in the back, but the edges are not only slightly rounded, but also there's a little crimping in the corner. We'll turn it around, and this is a 1957. Again, the corners are somewhat rounded or crimped. The borders are fairly discolored as far as just not glowing white. It's a good picture in the center. I would say that at best it would be a 3, but it might be, based on one of the other cards where the corners were kind of not as great, a 1.5. So let me see if it's a 1.5. Oh, no, 3. My first guess was right. How about that?
How about that is right.
Very good. So that was a 3. And what did that go for?
About $199.
$199. Well, very good. In that sense. Okay. Now we're looking at a card here of Kobe Bryant. And again, an individual who tragically, his life ended early, who was, went right from high school to the pros and became a superstar and probably one of the most well-known players in the ranks of Michael Jordan. And this card is a number 52, and I believe it's a rookie card. And it's an Ultra Rookie. So Fleer Ultra Rookie looks very colorful and bright on the front, sharp corners. Everything looks good. As again, I would think it would be a 9 or an 8, but let me just go for a 7, just to be on the safe side. Well,
you got it right on
7,
the money again.
Near mint.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh. Yes, that one. So I have it down as, I don't know why, $40.
Okay. Well, again, in terms of the make of the card at that particular year, it probably wasn't the most popular of the makes of cards, and there were other rookies, and he had lots of cards because many cards were being put out that time, so that it may be less, even though it has a high PSA rating. Okay. With that. But again, when these cards came out and you were buying rookies, most of the time you got them out of packs or someone was selling them, they were happy to get even $5 for it.
Okay, yeah.
So even, that amount is significant if we look at inflation, correct? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's look at the next one. Another Roberto Clemente, very good. On the back, there is it's that 90-10, so a little bit off-centered from that standpoint. Along the edges, it looks like a little bit of white cardboard is showing, so what they call chipping. The corners are again fraying, but certainly a nice looking card from the back. And we turn her over, and this looks like it is I think a 1973. And but it's very well centered on the front. Coloration is good. The corners actually look sharper in the front than in the back. I would basically say this could go as a 5, but I'm going to go with a 4 because there is some off-centering on the back and some chipping. So let me say a 4. Oops, no. How about that?
Wow, yay.
So a 6. So this is a 73 tops. So
okay.
Very nice card.
Going for 123.
Well, that's very good. Because again, that was, he's about ending his career. So the cards become less every year that the person's in the league. So to even be rated that high, that's pretty commendable for that. Okay, now we have a Ricky Henderson. Again, going back historically, as I mentioned, my son, this was his favorite player. He was really into base stealing, which if you know anything about baseball, Ricky Henderson was pretty much the primo of stealing bases. Well centered in the back, probably at least 80-20. A little bit of the fraying and in the back, but no rounded corners and good coloring. Look at the front. Well, this is rookie card, so this is his rookie card, I believe, which would have been 1980. Good coloring on the front. The corners actually look better. The margins are good, and there's no chipping or fraying. Coloration's good. Centering's good. So I would have to say I would give it a 6, but because of the little bit of fraying in the back, maybe a 5. Maybe a 5. Okay,
You're
well,
right.
I was right.
Oh my gosh, we're getting good at this.
Yeah, so very surprised.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I was surprised for such a popular player, though, that, even at a 5, that one was only going for 55.
Yeah.
especially for the rookie.
Right, and I think as we look at, like I say, this would not, by definition, even be considered a vintage card. Vintage cards are before 1980.
Okay.
So in 1980, you're starting to get the glut of cards. So there's a lot more of them, and they're a lot more available. And unless you really got a perfect card where you put it in the slot, and people were still not in that much collecting, so I think that they would basically put them and play with them and so forth, and get that really non-mint look. So. But still, again, with the cards cost originally. But back in the 90s, because he was certainly top notch, that the card was going for better than that at that particular time. So what did you say it was worth?
Last sold that I have here a couple weeks ago for $55.
55, okay. All right, well, very good. So here we have another Ricky Henderson card. Okay, it looks like it's also
same one.
a 1980. The corners look a lot sharper than the other one, and definitely centered as far as on the back. And the front, we see the coloring's good, the centering's good, the edges maybe a little bit of fraying in one corner. Again, I would think compared to the other one, it probably would be a grade higher, so I would say a 6. Nope, it's still got a 5, so, it's still got a 5, so still $55 there. Okay, with it. All right, now we're looking at a card here that is Roger Maris. So Roger Maris, even though he never entered the Hall of Fame, because he was a Yankee, because it was just historically so popular in terms of the home run race between him and Mickey Mantle, and that's the year that for a long time he held the record for most home runs during a season, with an asterisk because it went into the postseason and hit 61. But he was a very popular player and passed away young and so forth. And this card was actually the number 1 listed. A little bit of rounding the corners, probably 90-10 centering in the back, but no discoloration or chipping or scraping. And we look to the front, and this is a 1962. Again, because it's 62 and that brown wood edging, it's very easy to kind of get what they would call chipping. It looks like there might be the little bit of fraying on the edges. So because of that, I would have to say I'd like to give it a 5, but it might go as low as a 4. So I'll say a 4.5. Well, 4 it was.
You're so close.
4 it was.
Yes, and I mean, again, Roger Maris, I just assumed it would be like in the way up there, but 150.
150. You're right, but that's good. For Roger Maris, because that was not, I don't think, his rookie card. So to be, I forget what his rookie card. I think it was 1961 maybe. So second year, that's pretty good. Okay, for that grade. Okay, next card is that of Ken Griffey. Now, Ken Griffey probably was one of the most popular players of modern era, and certainly during his early career, he's called the Kid, and he was so young, and his dad played baseball that lots of people followed him. And so the card, when it came out, and the first time that upper deck came out, that was really the front and center card. So even in the 80s, when you purchased cards, that was probably one of the most expensive cards to get, and so forth. And I believe this one was actually pulled from a set, so it should be mint because it was just basically put from the set and put into a holder. But sometimes the manufacturers, level of the card is not that great. But the corners are sharp. It's very well centered. You look at the front, very well colored. No problems with the corners and so forth. So I have to think, because it was taken directly from a deck, it would have to be an 8 or a 9. So let me say an 8. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, 6. Wow. So it just shows you. Just take it right out of
It's
the
so hard to
back.
tell. I'm going to zoom in on this one because it got me too. Like, I just thought, I don't know, straight from the pack. But you just never know, I guess.
So as far as the owner, there's nothing more they could do than to preserve the card. So it must be based on the manufacturer and something that it looks perfectly centered. I can't see any flaws in it. The corners are sharp. The color's sharp. So again, I'm not a professional grader, so I'm sure they would kind of point out some things that I didn't know. But so what is that card going for?
So that was the one I was probably the most excited to get back, because that's the one I keep seeing, like, that's the card to have, it seems like, for everybody's collection. But I guess at a 6, it's $59.99.
Okay, well.
But you get a 9 or 10. Woo!
Yeah. And I don't know what does that. I don't know how you get it. Okay, so this is the last one is a Hank Aaron, 488, number 488. Again, the centering on the back is probably a little bit off center, maybe even less than 90-10. But the edges are quite good, at least from the back standpoint. The front is an all-star card, the 58 all-star card, and the corners actually look better in the front, and the centering's better. I mean, 80-20. The coloring, no scuffs or creases on the card. So it would seem to me that it could be as high as a 6, but because of the centering, I'm going to go a 5. So, oops, exactly
you
right.
Got it.
Okay.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That just, to me, just the ones with the stars in the back.
Oh,
just,
yeah. It's
just
kinda,
give it kind of a cool,
yeah.
that vintage vibe that I think is just neat to see.
So,
Very good.
So what was that one go for?
That one for 117.
Very good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very good.
Okay, Dad, so how do you think you did?
Well, I mean, I think I did fairly well. Again, I never went into this collecting as an investment or really to sell them or even understood what grading was, except I wanted the card to be nice looking. It was not to basically make a profit from this collection. It was more to get bonding with my son and so forth. So, and it was a fun thing we did together. So I'm pleased, and we'll see if people want to, or start collecting them and have this opportunity to get them. And then they should go up if someone has son now. That wait another 25 years, and they should go up.
That's right. If you like these cards, or you want to see more that we have on our eBay store, check us out. It's in the link below in the description, our store. You can also follow us on Instagram, so we hope that you will, and we are going to bring you many more PSA reveals. We hope to see you at a new episode. Stay tuned for more. Bye for now.
Bye.